Shalom Yasharala. First and foremost, I want to say all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the house of David. Salutations to you brothers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching the truth and righteousness and sincerity to you Israelite foreigners. Come back home to the truth. To those that passed on serving the Lord, the dead in Yahushai shall arise first. To you sisters who believe, keep encouraging and supporting your brothers who are out here teaching this truth, and always commemorate the sister who washed Yahushai feet when you read the scriptures. All right, I want to talk about this video that I just saw sent to me by the brother Shamyar. Me and Shamyar very often talk about music. You know, I don't want to say we largely listen to the same music, because he listens to stuff I don't listen to. I listen to stuff he don't listen to. You know, I've had a relationship with music going back to, you know, when I was little. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, those movies had a lot of music in them that later on in life I started realizing was demonic. You know, a lot of rock songs and shit. You know, Rocky's soundtrack has some of the best, you know, a lot of my life I've been too hood to listen to that shit. And it really started. It really started when I started listening to hip hop, and I realized that hip hop was more my life than rock music. So, heavy metal. It was really mostly that heavy metal shit. But, you know, I never stopped liking it. I just stopped listening to the heavy metal shit because, you know, in my mind it was either one or the other. And I really enjoyed hip hop because hip hop spoke about a lot of aspects of my life, not just criminal shit, because I wasn't the biggest criminal, you know, when I was in the world. You know, I'm not sitting here saying I was a fucking angel either. You know, I mean, at 13 years old, 14, I was 14. I had just turned 14, not even I wasn't 3 months yet into being 14 years old. And I already had my first arrest for possession of cocaine. And what was I listening to at that time? Onyx. Onyx was the biggest to me. You know, I thought they were the most gangsterous, toughest niggas in the world. And I thought Brooklyn was just the fucking mecca of gangster shit. You know, all the movies and everything I had ever heard about Brooklyn when I was 13, 14 years old was just, it's just a place that builds supermen. Niggas that get shot and walk out and just get up and walk away. Not literally, but you know, that's just, you got to remember I'm 13, 14 years old at the time, listening to Onyx and all the violent shit they're talking about. And of course, a lot of rappers, you don't find out that they were fake. You know, Run DMC actually did an interview where he was talking about Onyx. He said, yo, they was scared as hell. They wasn't like what their music was like. You know, you hear about Sticky Fingers knocking out a white boy, but when you get a white boy in a fucking ring by the name of Simon Woodstock, look it up on Google. Sticky Fingers got his ass whooped by a white guy named Simon Woodstock in some MTV fight or some shit. You find out that all these rappers that you think are so tough are not. But, you know, the way it relates to music is, you know, my mind was always, I always have violent thoughts, although I don't carry them out. You know, when somebody annoys me and they might not be in the wrong, I'm just probably irritable. And I grew up that way. I've been irritable all my life. I've always been easy to aggravate. That's why a lot of times when brothers, or not just brothers, but anybody do a joke that they're not supposed to make, and then they be like, oh, I'm just fucking with you. That's not some I'm fucking with you type shit. That's an ass whooping. But the video, by the way, just to give credit, although the brother that sent it to me is Shamyar, because he's like to give him a shout out, because he is a brother who is kind of almost like me. We're not the same. We have a lot of dissimilarities, but we also have a lot of similarities. Like, we're almost like damn near sometimes identical twins. Shit. You know what? I gotta stop the video. I'll do it again in a second.